in a little town called Riverdale.
Something really weird is going on.
You're telling me, how could ordinary potatoes do this?
Archie, Betty, Veronica, and Jughead investigate monsters, mysteries, and mayhem.
Did you just experience what I experienced? When will I learn it can always get weirder than this?
Catch all the adventure. Archie's Weird Mysteries, here on Cubo.
That's right, I brought the series back, and I think I'm going to stick with doing these Do You Remember videos, because I actually do like doing them, and I also kind of want to get into, like, the PBS Kids shows, too, like, Word Girl or Wildcats. Anyway, the whole Archie franchise has 3 different forms of media: the comics, the shows, and the Netflix live-action adaptation. So, let's talk about the comics real quick, and some of the background for that show.
Don't touch that remote. We'll be right back.
We're back, and I'm still hungry.
Okay, so the Archie comics were made by the publisher John L. Goodwater, who wanted to appeal to the fans of Mickey Rooney's Hardy films. And then the artist, Bob Montana, who based his characters on people he knew in Riverdale, Massachusetts. I think that's how you say it. And then there was the writer, Vic Bloom, who collabed with Goldwater and Montana to create the first Archie comic. Archie Andrews first appeared in the Pep Comic 22 in December of 1941. Archie is described as the typical teenager who attends high school, plays sports, and is described as someone who likes to date. Apparently he's known for being caring, brave, but he's also accident prone, kind of like Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Has a weird love triangle thing going on with Betty and Veronica. By the way, the first Archie comic number 1 from 1942, is worth up to $167,000 now, which is just insane. But let's talk about the show now.
We'll be back faster than you can say Pythagorean theorem. And now, back to Reggie's Archie's Weird Mysteries.
So, Archie's Weird Mysteries was produced by the quote-unquote famous DIC Entertainment. I would not pronounce DIC because I don't want to. And ran from late 1999 to early 2000, ending after the 40-hour half episodes. It only ran for 5 months, from October 2nd, 1999 to February 22nd of 2000. And then 2 years later, it had a movie, apparently a TV movie, kind of like the Scooby-Doo TV movies, with the same cast and crew, called The Archies in Jugman. Some episodes of the show aired, say it with me, on Cubo in 2014. However, Cubo did shut down in 2021, like I discussed in the Cubo video. But the site is still up with the whole section of Archie's Weird Mysteries. Check it out after this video. It's really in-depth. Archie's Weird Mysteries is very memorable, sort of nostalgic vibe to it, especially for me. The first thing that ever really scared me when I was a child was Attack of the Killer Spuds, which is the first episode of Archie's Weird Mysteries. And man, rewatching that, it was just amazing. I wish I could go back to that time, but, I decided to make a video on it instead. And I think that puts us on to the third and probably most known part of Archie's histories, at least now it is. So, that part of Archie's theme song where it says, "Something's going on in Riverdale"? Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Archie's Weird Mysteries.
Yes, now we are talking about the live-action adaptation, Riverdale. Riverdale had a weird reputation, or has a weird reputation from what I hear. Some love it, some hate it. Alex Myers loves it, but it's definitely divided, I'd say. I just watched the first episode before writing the script for this show. And yeah, I really want to watch the rest of the series. But within the first episode, we meet Veronica, Betty, Archie, and Jughead. Jughead's at the end, though. I don't think Reggie was in it, but it's still really cool. And surprisingly, Riverdale is not based on Archie's Weird Mysteries. Archie's Weird Mysteries was inspired by Scooby-Doo and the X-Files. Meanwhile, Riverdale was inspired by the 1930s Andy Hardy films. And Scooby-Doo has some connections with Archie's Weird Mysteries, like I pointed out earlier, which makes sense since it's inspired by it. And the Andy Hardy films are what inspired the comics, so it kind of comes full circle there. And it's really cool and interesting that some of the other popular titles by Archie Comics included Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Josie and the Pussycats, which is actually really cool because it has Josie and the Pussycats in the first episode of Riverdale. They do appear in the first episode, and they actually play on stage in the first episode, and it just made me really happy when I saw, like, it was kind of like when I saw Crash in the Band from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World in the movie. It had the same feeling when I saw Josie and the Pussycats perform on stage in Riverdale. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode of Do You Remember? Please comment a show that you want me to cover, and I will. But that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching me, DTB. Subscribe and bye.